Greetings from ISEP Study Abroad headquarters in Washington, D.C. It's time for ISEP Live. We're so excited to have you here with us today, and we're really excited to be talking about some of our exchange programs in the United States. So, to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about today during ISEP Live, we're going to start with a brief overview of ISEP. So, what is ISEP? How do programs work? And from there, we have three really exciting programs to talk to you about. The first is Truman State University in Missouri. Second, we'll be talking about the University of North Carolina at Asheville in North Carolina. And the last university we're talking about is the University of North Georgia. Finally, we'll finish up with some question and answers, which is the beauty of you being here with us live, is you have the opportunity to ask us questions and get live feedback. So before we get into that, let's talk about ISEP. ISEP is a network of over 300 universities worldwide, and through that network, we facilitate two types of programs. The first is the ISEP Exchange, and that's what we're talking about today. With ISEP Exchange, you pay your tuition, housing, and meals directly to your home university, and a student from an international student is paying those same costs to their home university, and you exchange one-to-one. So that's the program type we're talking about today. We also facilitate ISEP Direct programs. While we won't be talking about those today, that's definitely another option for you to look into. We have another ISEP Live that we did earlier in the semester on ISEP Direct in the USA. So if you're interested in those programs, definitely check out that broadcast as well. Again, the beauty of you being here with us live is you have the opportunity to ask us live questions. So there are a couple of different ways you can do that. The first is through social media. We're using the hashtag ISEP Live on Twitter. So if you have questions for us, definitely find us there. The other option is for you to use the question and answer toolbar that's right on the right side of your screen. It looks like a few people have already started to type in some questions, so we'll get to those in just a little bit. But without any further ado, it's time to talk about our first program. We have Jeanne d'Arc, who is Regional Director, to talk to us about Truman State University in Missouri. So thank you for being here with us, Jeanne d'Arc.
Well, thank you for having me, Chris. Thank you, all of you, for coming, for joining us today. It is a delight for me to talk about Truman State University, an institution of academic excellence. Truman consistently achieves national recognition. Truman State is ranked #1 public university in the Midwest among schools with bachelor's and master's degree for the past 13 years. Truman has a population of around 360 international students from 43 different countries. That is to say that the institution offers a friendly community. Students who study at Truman State are immersed in a vibrant atmosphere where cultural diversity is embraced and celebrated year-round. Students are housed in residence halls. They also accommodate married students for an additional fee. It has over 240 student organizations. That is to say that it also offers about 20 varsity sport teams that are called the Bulldogs. One takeaway from this ISEP Live, if you forget about everything, is to also know that one of Truman's most notable alumni is called Ken Norton, and he was one of the boxers to defeat Muhammad Ali. So you will find a lot of activities to do at Truman State. Students can get involved in intramural sports and many other outdoor activities. The campus is located near a 3,000-acre state park that includes walking trails and a beautiful lake. History fans, nature lovers, hunters, fishermen, artists alike, everyone will find something to do. You're probably wondering where this beautiful campus is located at. Truman State is located in northeast Missouri. It is in the city of Kirksville, which is in the Midwest region. People in the Midwest are really known for their kindness. I can attest to that myself because I've studied in the Midwest. Kirksville is a university town. It's a safe city where you will be overwhelmed by the kindness of the people. As I said, they will walk the extra mile to make you comfortable. People in the Midwest, as I said, they're really nice. Trust me. I've experienced it myself firsthand, and I invite you to do so. Kirksville is in a vibrant, historic downtown square. It is at about driving distance to Chicago, to Des Moines, Kansas City. So you can travel pretty much to many places from Kirksville. As I said earlier, Truman State is an institution of academic excellence. Undergraduate students who study there can choose from around 300, from 30 areas of studies, and graduate students can choose from 6 areas of studies, including accounting through the business school. I'm not going to really list the field of studies, but we have recommended some of them on the screen. And just wanted to say that all majors will find something to study at the Truman State University. Deadlines for the internal applications are early June for fall and full year, and for spring semester it is September, early September. However, because you're applying as an exchange program through ISEP, you really want to remember the ISEP deadlines that are usually earlier than Truman State's deadlines. Our ISEP deadlines are usually in the fall, February 15th, and full year February 15th, and for the spring semester, September 1st. So we really encourage you to consider applying to study into the United States to Truman State University. One last piece of information for your consideration is the language requirement. Because you will be taking courses in English, the language requirement to study at Truman State is 79 internet-based TOEFL or 550 paper-based. The institution also accepts the language proficiency report that ISEP provides from students that are from several universities. We have those listed on our directory page as well. We also accept institutional TOEFLs if you're not taking the regular TOEFL. Just as a conclusion, if you're looking for an institution of academic excellence, a warm and vibrant campus, and a city with a wide spectrum of student activities, consider applying to study at Truman State University as an exchange student through ISEP. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. And we're really excited. We have a student who's actually currently studying at Truman State University with us on the line. Melody is from Jufi in China, and you've been at Truman State this semester. How are you, Melanie?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks so much for being here with us. Let's start off. We want to hear all about your time there at Truman State. How would you describe your time so far? Maybe in one word or phrase, what would it be?
It would be amazing.
Yeah? Why is that?
Yeah, because before I got my IELTS score last year, I couldn't even imagine that I would be studying abroad. And I couldn't imagine that my studying abroad experience would be so colorful and fascinating. I learned a lot, and also I met students from different countries and different backgrounds and be friends with them. So they are just all amazing guys, and they give me a lot of amazing experience that I could never imagine.
Right, great to hear. Tell us about the culture. What is your favorite part about culture in Missouri?
I think it's the people here, because people here in Kirksville, they are very friendly. They will express their greetings to you before you even smile to them. So that they will make you feel like you are really a member of their community instead of just a stranger or outsider.
Right, right. What about academics? In your experience, what have classes been like for you?
Sorry, what?
For academics, what have classes been like for you?
I think most of classes are very much more strict than that in my home institution, but they are all small-sized classes with about 20 students in each, so that professors can take care of every student in her class, in her or his class. So you will get much more attention, and also you have more opportunity to learn more and get more.
Great. It sounds like you're having a great experience. We actually have a question from one of our viewers who says that they've been placed at Truman State University, so they will be studying there as well. And they're asking about any student organizations. In your experience, have you seen a lot of student organizations? Have you been able to get involved with any yourself?
Right. I can see like the student organization promotions all around the campus. So you have a bunch of opportunities to join in, like almost the organization you can imagine about, you can think about.
Great. And one more question that maybe you can answer based on your experience, and Ajahn Dark might have some feedback based on her experience. The student is asking about applying for a credit card before going to study in the USA. Is that something that you did based on your experience? Is that something that you felt like was important for you?
You mean applying for credit card in the US?
Right.
I'm actually still using my credit card from China,
Right.
but it's still like accessible and I can use it because it's a Mastercard, so I can also use it for online payments and also like paying for things bought from Walmart or wherever. So it's
Right.
also very convenient, but I don't know much about applying for credit card.
Yeah. Well, that's a great tip from your own experience. We really appreciate you joining us today and taking the time to come talk to us about your time at Truman State.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for being with us, Melody.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, with that, it's time to talk about our next program. We have Linda, who is our regional director, to talk about the University of North Carolina at Asheville. Linda oversees that region of the U.S., so we're excited to have her here to tell us all about UNC Asheville. Thanks for being here, Linda.
Hi, good morning. Thank you all for being here. I know it's quite early, 9 o'clock for many people. I'm here today to talk about the University of North Carolina at Asheville. Asheville is beautiful. I've been there twice already and had the chance to visit quite a few of the installations on the campus. It's a 360-acre campus, just minutes away from thousands of acres of federal and state forest. You can hike, you can camp, kayak, whitewater rafting, rock climb, all of this with a popular outdoor recreation program. If you need equipment, don't worry. You can rent it any gear that you need and bikes for free or just for a few bucks. The bike shop, part of the campus recreation services, offers free maintenance to all students. You can even bring your bike by and learn how to fix it yourself. If you prefer to stay on campus, campus recreation, once again, will provide you indoor pool and track, a weight room, intramural sports, and fitness classes, club sports, and group exercise, just to name a few of the many things that you can do. Getting around campus on foot, by bike, or by the campus BART, which is a shuttle service, is easy because the campus is relatively compact. And taking in the sights and sounds of downtown is just as easy by catching a ride on the Asheville Transit buses, free for University of North Carolina Asheville students. Be sure to visit the thriving artistic community and taste Southern cooking at the many restaurants. The great thing about studying at Asheville is the wonderful climate, moderate winter, and really beautiful summer temperatures. This allows you to do all these activities year-round. If you want to see more of the region, no problem. Hop on the Asheville shuttle to go to Greenville, about an hour away, or visit Charlotte, which is about an hour and 20 minutes away. Or you can catch a flight from Asheville's regional airport and see all the sights along the United States eastern coast. Moving on now to academics and what you can study at Asheville. In addition to the regular arts and humanities courses, Asheville is known for its drama and theater arts, as well as commercial media, film, and visual media journalism. Taking courses from the interdisciplinary study programs allows you to expand your knowledge on a wide range of fields and learn about different approaches to ongoing issues. You've got Africana and Asian studies, religious studies, women, gender, and sexual studies, just sexuality studies, just to name a few. Interested in atmospheric sciences, environmental sciences, or new media, Asheville is the place to go. I must confess that I had to look up the definition for new media because I had no idea what it is. So I'm going to share this definition with you. New media is the 21st century catch-all term used to define all that is related to the internet and the interplay between technology, images, and sound. If social sciences is your thing, don't miss the chance to study business, economics, and political science from another point of view. Another great benefit of studying at Asheville is that it provides you with the flexibility of applying after the ISEP official deadline. So for spring 2016, you can have up to October 1st to apply, and for fall 2016 and full year 2016-17, you have until April 1st to apply. The language requirement, of course, is a TOEFL. You will need a 79 internet-based TOEFL and a 550 for a paper-based TOEFL. The institutional TOEFL is also accepted. Another great opportunity that Asheville offers is a scholarship. It's called the Janet Sprexel Study Abroad Scholarship. Students coming from Austria, Germany, or Switzerland may apply for this scholarship after ISEP has placed them at the University of North Carolina at Asheville. You can receive a stipend award up to $1,000. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It sounds like all sorts of exciting things are happening at UNC Asheville, and we're really excited to have our ISEP coordinator from UNC Asheville joining us over the phone. Are you with us, Bonnie?
I am, Chris.
Hi, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we want to hear about your experience since you're there on campus and work with incoming students. First off, when you work with incoming students, when they're arriving at UNC Asheville, what would you say the thing that's most surprising to them is when they first arrive on campus?
I think that they tend to be surprised with how easy it is for them to participate in activities and clubs, organizations, sports intramurals. They can even do language tutoring here, and we even have one of our ISEP students who's here for a year. She's an RA for her second semester here, so they can really get involved.
Wow, that's awesome. Tell us about students are always interested in traveling. What opportunities are close to Asheville, or maybe even within Asheville, that you typically see incoming students traveling to or sightseeing?
Yeah. Well, we are lucky in that we are located in a beautiful region, right in the middle of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and then we're very close to a big national park, the Smoky Mountains National Park. So, nature is all over here. It's very beautiful. And then we're also in close proximity to the coast. The historic city of Charleston is an easy distance away. Students really do a lot of traveling because it's fairly easy to either drive places from here. Atlanta is not that far away, or also, flying to different places. But definitely there are many things to do right here. The Biltmore House is a big kind of destination to go to, and our international students go as a group every year to that. It's one of George Vanderbilt's many big homes that he had in the United States.
Yeah, that sounds great. And it sounds like that's a great opportunity for students to make friends with other exchange students. Can you tell us more about that? How easy is it for a student, an incoming exchange student at UNC Asheville, to befriend other international students or local students there in North Carolina?
Well, they very easy to get to know other international students because they all arrive at the same time and do their orientation together. But we have a program called the International Student Mentor Program, where we match each international student with a UNCA student. Typically, it's a UNCA student who has studied abroad, but not always. And so it kind of helps the international student get more immersed in the campus culture. The mentor helps them get kind of accustomed to the difference in academics and answers lots of questions about the campus. It can take them off campus and show them around town.
Great. We do have one question from a viewer that I was hoping that you and Linda could kind of together answer. This student is asking, based on coming into the United States, what costs can they anticipate that are outside of maybe the program costs that are covered? Is there generally anything that you see at UNC Asheville with incoming students, or maybe Linda, you could speak generally to what students they anticipate or expect?
Okay, most students, or all students, will have the institutional information sheet, what we call the IIS, and there's a section on what your personal expenses can be. Of course, your tuition, your housing, and your meals will all be covered, as will usually the use of the gym and that type of facilities. So I suggest you go to the IIS and look up how much. I would say about $500–600, and maybe Bonnie can help as what textbooks would cost, or the possibility of being able to rent the textbooks or use the ones at the library at no extra cost.
Yeah, we do have a textbook rental program, and that helps out with cost, because I would say that that would be an expense, but it's hard to put an amount on that. Just depends on what the student's taking. And then during the orientation, we kind of guide the student in the different ways to get textbooks. Other personal expenses, really, like Linda had mentioned in the introduction, transportation, the city bus line is included for all students. It's free. Personal expenses shouldn't be that high, except if you're doing some traveling. Maybe a couple hundred a month at the most, I would think.
Right. Well, we really appreciate you being here with us today, Bonnie, and taking some time to tell us about UNC Asheville from your perspective.
Sure. Glad to be here.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Great. And with that, it is time for us to talk about our last program. We have Clayton, who is overseeing our program at the University of North Georgia. So he's here to talk to us about that today. Thanks for being here, Clayton.
Hi, no, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Chris. Again, I'm Clayton Harrington. I'm the Director of Membership here at ISEP, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the University of North Georgia. That, of course, is located in the state of Georgia, which is in the southeastern United States, as you can see from the map there. But, of course, being the University of North Georgia, within the state of Georgia, it is, of course, located in the northern part of that state. So, in fact, it's probably only about 2.5–3 hours away from UNC Asheville, which we were just talking about. Okay, so the University of North Georgia is located in the town of Dahlonega, which is also nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, again, not very far away from UNC Asheville. It's also surrounded by a national forest, which means that there are lots and lots of opportunities for outdoor activities. Again, there's camping, fishing, hiking, biking, canoeing. All of those things are readily available in that area. So although it is a small town, it has very, very rich history. It was one of the sites of the first gold rushes in the United States. So there's a lot of historic buildings and sites to visit in the downtown area. The campus is also a short walk from the restaurants and shops that are in downtown. So though it is kind of in general a rural area, there's very good walkability, and you wouldn't need a car. You can actually walk from campus to restaurants and other things downtown. The University of North Georgia is actually a military school, although for the state of Georgia, although there are lots of civilians there as well. So the campus population is split between the military college and those that are just regular students. It prides itself on developing and educating leaders through a very strong liberal arts curriculum, but there are also pre-professional, professional, and graduate programs at the University of North Georgia. One of the other nice things, although it is a rural setting for the most part, it's really only about an hour away from Atlanta, so you have very, very easy accessibility to a large urban area with lots of cultural events and all of the things that come along with that. I would also add that within the city of Atlanta has the Hartsfield International Airport, which is the largest and busiest airport in the United States. So for those of you that are interested in studying at North Georgia, there's also very, very easy accessibility for travel and visiting other locations within the United States. Moving on to talk a little bit about the academics. I think that I already mentioned it's a Georgia leadership institution. That's one of their focuses. I already mentioned it's a military school, but again, there is a very large civilian population there as well. It has about 16,000 students, so it's not a small institution either. That means that it has very large facilities and very extensive offerings with regards to student activities and clubs, etc. It is the 7th largest public institution in the state. So the fields of study that are most recommended are business, history, languages, literature, political science, and psychology. So those are the fields and areas of study that are recommended by the University of North Georgia as being the most appropriate. However, of course, there are many other areas of study that are also available there. Those are just the ones that they're recommending. Of course, you can find a more extensive list of all of the areas of study available at the University of North Georgia on the directory page of the ISEP website. The University of North Georgia will take graduate students, but those graduate students have to be prepared to take undergraduate courses in most cases. And of course, there is availability of upper division courses as well, but students have to be able to provide, of course, their transcript, and there has to be a review process to ensure that they have necessary prerequisites. I would also mention when you go there, of course, the folks in the international office, one of the staff members there who works with ISEP, Camille Bearden, she is actually an ISEP alum. So unfortunately, we didn't get Camille to join us today, but that is sort of an interesting thing and someone that you can talk to about the ISEP experience while you're there. So that is the University of North Georgia in a nutshell.
Did you want to tell us about deadlines and language requirements?
Yes, for the language requirements, I think as was stated for the other two schools that we've talked about, it's going to be a 79 required for the internet-based TOEFL and 550 for the paper. The IELTS requirement is a 6.5, I believe that they will not take the institutional TOEFL or the language proficiency report. And you can see the standard deadlines there, of course, for students applying for the spring semester here in the Northern Hemisphere. That would be September 1. And for students that were interested in applying for a full year or for the fall semester, that would be February 15th.
Great. Well, tell us more. You mentioned the support that they offer on the ground. Tell us more about that. What can a student expect as far as support from ISEP at North Georgia?
Well, I think that having Camille there, as I said, is somebody who has experience studying abroad. I think that I couldn't tell you the exact number. There is a sizable international student population there as well, so they're accustomed to dealing with those students and their needs, and of course further assistance with regards to housing, course registration, those types of things. I think one of the nice things is that you're applying also that process of communication. You should receive an acceptance packet once you've been placed and confirmed and, of course, accepted your placement at the University of North Georgia. So communicating a little bit ahead of time about the registration process to try to ensure that you're going to get the courses that you would like would also be very important. In the kind of a general sense, I think a lot of U.S. universities generally have very, very good student services, so you should be able to expect to be well taken care of.
Great. Well, tell us, you touched on some opportunities for travel. What other opportunities exist, or what do typical students at North Georgia take part in terms of travel?
Yeah, I would just review again the things that I'm assuming the University of North Georgia accumulates a very large student population from all over the state, and it's one of the the state of Georgia, I think, is the largest state east of the Mississippi. So in the eastern United States, it's the largest state. And I'm assuming also they have a population of students from around the country as well. I already mentioned too that I think again, as far as outdoor activities or those students that might be interested in spending time outside, this is really an outstanding destination. But it's kind of, you get kind of getting the best of both worlds, I think, because you're in a small town, you have access to restaurants and things that you can walk to from campus, you have access to the woods and the mountains, and then, as I already mentioned, of course, you're only an hour away from the very large metropolitan area of Atlanta and the airport and all of those things. You're very close to the coast as well, so probably not more than 3-4 hours away from, Charleston, South Carolina, or Hilton Head, Savannah, Georgia. There are a lot of other places. If you wanted to go to some place like New Orleans, that's probably a little more, 8, 9, you're getting a little bit further away there. But there are other large urban areas, I think as Bonnie mentioned, for UNC Asheville, Charlotte, North Carolina is probably only about 3-4 hours away as well. So lots of opportunities in the surrounding area to see different things and travel.
All right. And finally, how might a student develop professionally by participating in the program at North Georgia or any of these U.S. exchanges?
Well, I think in a very general sense, of course, we're very interested in the skills that students get from international opportunities. I think there's a lot of evidence that participating in international academic programs really gives you a unique perspective on how academics are handled in other countries around the world. The intercultural communication skills, adaptability, comfort with ambiguity are some of the things that we talk about as very, very important so-called soft skills that students get from traveling and studying in another culture. So I think those things are very, very important as well. We talk about things like, these are sometimes terms that are hard to define, but a more globalized vision for the world and understanding of other cultures and how to adapt to those cultures as well, very important. Specifically to the University of North Georgia, I think one of the things that's interesting about it, of course, is that I think going to a smaller town within the United States gives you a little more authentic sort of experience, a North American experience. Whereas, if you were going to be in a larger urban area, that would also be very valuable. But I think it would be very, very different. You wouldn't necessarily be as traditional, maybe. You would be surrounded by other immigrant populations, etc. So I think as far as really experiencing the United States and what it is in a more traditional sense, of going to a smaller city like where the University of North Georgia is, it's a very good opportunity.
Great. Well, thank you for taking some time to join us. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for questions today. But if you are watching the show as a recording, again, feel free to utilize social media to ask us questions about any of these programs that we talked about today using the hashtag ISEPLive. Again, this show will exist as a recording on our YouTube channel as soon as we finish today. So if you want to learn more about these programs or watch anything again or share this broadcast with friends, you can get that there on our YouTube channel and pass along that way. Before we let you go for the day, I did want to remind you about your steps from here. So now that you've learned about all of these excellent exchange program opportunities in the United States, it's time to start doing some research. Our website is a great resource for you. We're at www.isep.org. You can find directory pages on each of these sites that we mentioned today, as well as any of our sites within the ISEP network. So that's a great place to start getting more information and start seeing what specifics might work for your situation. And again, connecting with ISEP on social media is a great resource to you as well. We're at ISEP Study Abroad on all major social media networks, and that's a great place to ask questions of ISEP Study Abroad headquarters and the program staff here. Once you've had a chance to do some research, it's time to meet with your ISEP coordinator. Your ISEP coordinator is someone on your home campus who's an expert in all things ISEP. So just like there's an ISEP coordinator on your host campus, there's someone on your home campus who knows the process, who has a general understanding of ISEP programs. They can help you with the research. They can help you once you are at the point of applying for a program. So that's definitely someone you want to connect with. And once you have had the opportunity to connect with them, like I said, it's time to apply for your program. Again, using our website is a great resource. www.isep.org/apply has some great information on the application process and what you can expect there. Thank you again so much for joining us today. I wanted to thank all of our program experts and our presenters who spoke on their respective campuses. ISEP Live is a weekly show, so join us again next week as we talk about more of the people and places that make up the ISEP network.